Hello and welcome to the Emmy Awards. I'm your host, Emmy Cardinale, and this is my podcast where I talk about what I've been watching or rewatching once a week. If this is the first episode of mine that you stumble upon and you enjoy it, please feel free to follow me wherever you listen to podcasts so you can get notified when I upload a new episode. Like and subscribe if you're listening to this on YouTube, all of that stuff. This episode is going to be continuing my coverage of Big Brother 28. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. So, a few disclaimers before I jump into my recap. The first thing I want to say is that I try my best when I'm recapping reality TV to be as fair and non-judgmental of the contestants as I can be. I'm in a really bad mood and I'm really upset about the way things are happening this season. So I'm not unbiased. I will be sharing my bias and my opinion on various of the house guests. So I apologize. I'm gonna try not to the thing is, whatever, I'll get into it as I go. I really try not to be to judge people morally based off of the way they're moving in the game, but there are lines for me and bigotry and by there are lines, okay? And I feel that several people have crossed them to the point where I really dislike them. So because of that, I'm not going to be super impartial in this. Not that I have my opinion and I always have my favorites or people I dislike based on their gameplay, but I really try not to judge them as people. And at the end of the day, I don't know any of these people, but I do dislike some of them. Whatever. So I do want to make that disclaimer. The second thing I want to say is I don't have any notes. I normally take notes, but I remember everything. I remember everything that happened. I remember everything that I want to say. And the third thing I want to say is that I didn't watch live feeds as much as I did last week because I was miserable. Every time I tuned into feeds, I was miserable. And then I had hope and then I was miserable again. So I'm not Taryn. I do not have a comprehensive recap. I'm probably going to miss something. I watched Big Brother Unlocked and I completely didn't even know of an alliance that they talked about because it was a Kamu Drew alliance and I simply hate Kamu. So, you know what's so funny is last week when Rick Devens was the HOH, Kamu at some point was up there saying something about how we need to get these people out and these people out and whatever. He was so insufferable to me, talking about how this person can't comp and this person can't win at comp. And it really, really got me. It really, really pissed me off. And I got really angry and I tweeted that I was a Kamu hate account. And then I deleted the tweet because I was like, you know what, whatever. He's pissing me off in the game. I know that he has some really messed up stuff in his background, but I don't want to dedicate my energy into hating him. I shouldn't have deleted that tweet. I'm fine being a Call Me Hate account now, and I'll get into it. But anyways, those are my disclaimers. It's really funny because the last episode I recorded it knowing who the HOH was because I recorded that last Thursday night and feeds had already come back, so I already knew who the HOH was. But I could not have imagined that the week would be as upsetting to me as it became. And now sitting here a week later, it's genuinely very, very upsetting. Very upsetting. I didn't realize how bad things were going to get. Because Kamu won HOH. Beats came back. Kamu won HOH. I was like, great, this sucks. I hate this. I really was trying to not get into the doom and gloom of we're in a steamroll because the first week to me kind of felt the first week didn't feel like, okay, we're in a steamroll because it's like that was guaranteed to the vet. So week 2, it's like Devens wins HOH. Okay. Week 3, fuck, we're really in a steamroll is how I was starting to feel with Kamu winning HOH in general. I'm like, great, this sucks. Boring. And Kamu, of all the people on that side, is one of my least favorites because I hate the red corner with a passion. So I was not excited. Kamu at the beginning of his HOH is talking about how he doesn't want to do renoms. His plan originally is Lala, Jason, and Mallory, I think. I can't remember. Whatever. Kamu's target is Jason from the beginning, okay? Let that be known as if it's not already known. It is known. That's established. Okay. It's in it. Not only was it clear on feeds, it was in the edited show. So anything that, and I know it's a game and people lie. Okay. But anything that Kamu tries to frame like a scapegoat of like whatever. He wanted Jason out from the beginning. And I personally think he wanted Jason out because he never wanted Jason to win HOH, because when Jason won HOH, the boys were going to dress up in drag. And I think as soon as he remembered that, he immediately from that moment on was like, I need Jason out. I think as soon as he came into the house and he knew that Jason was a drag queen, he wanted Jason out. And I don't care if that sounds like paranoid or crazy. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I do think it was based on bias. And I do think Camus is a hateful, evil person. I don't care. I really don't care. Like, this week when Camus started being like, I'm going to get Jason out, immediately I was like, he doesn't want Jason to win HOH. And I flashed back to the conversation he had with Rick Devens when Rick Devens pointed out on the camera monitor, whatever, in the HOH room, that Drew was wearing girls' pajamas. And Camus was like, I'm not doing Miss Me with that drag shit. And then, because Rick Devens was like, yeah, I'm not doing that until Jason's HOH. I think as soon as Camus heard that, he said, that's it. I'm getting Jason out because Jason can't be HOH because we can't have a state-sanctioned reason for the men to be doing drag. Okay, that is my theory, and I stand by it. But from the beginning, he wanted Jason out. Jason was his target. So Drew, annoying. I'm really mad at everybody right now, so I am genuinely going to whack every single person. Overwhelmingly, I enjoy Drew on the screen. I'm a little mad at him because I'm a little mad at everybody, okay, about the way the week transpired. So I'm a little mad. I'm a little mad at him, okay? And I understand, and I do think, like, that it's really funny because Drew, whatever, maybe this is why I need notes, because I go on all these unnecessary tangents, okay? But lock in, Emi, okay? So Drew has the grand idea. Comment from the beginning is like, I don't want noms to change. I don't want noms to change. Okay, as if you have control over that. That's another thing that really, the reason that I clocked that I didn't like comment from the beginning is because the way he talked about things was not like, what are we going to do? Like, let's find something better for our game. He'd be like, we need to do this, and then we need to do this, and then we need to do this, in a way that was really insufferable to me, because it's like, you do not have the ultimate power. If you were in an alliance, then maybe bounce off people's ideas. It's really, really frustrating to me because week one, Dee and Devens like had a wariness towards the red corner people that they seem to have lost in a way that is making me root for Dee and Devens less. I'm rooting for Devens a little bit more because I feel like he is a bit, for as much as he like really gets down on himself and says that Dee is better strategically in these games, I think there's something about the pace or the structure or maybe just the circumstances of Big Brother that I think Devens is doing a better job than Dee. Maybe it's because Dee spends more time with Angela on a one-on-one basis. Like Rick Devens, at least from what I've witnessed on feeds, he's not really spending much time one-on-one with Angela. Dee spends a lot of time one-on-one with Angela, and I think it influences the way she's viewing the game and the numbers and everything, where I think Rick Devens doesn't spend as much time with Angela, so her paranoia doesn't seep into his perception and his reads as much. That is my interpretation of the dynamics. And I just think Rick Devens is the best positioned of the three icons. That's my opinion. Anyways, sorry, I'm going on an unnecessary tangent. Kami doesn't want the nominations to change. Okay, whatever. But he's making it very clear that Jason is his target. Jason is his target. So Drew's like, hey, maybe you should backdoor Jason so he doesn't have two chances to save himself because he just won Blockbuster and like he's actually good at comps. Like maybe don't give him an extra comp opportunity. So Kami's like, you're so right, Drew. I'm going to backdoor Jason. Okay, not originally part of his plan. Because it wasn't originally part of his plan, he has to go back on something that he told Lyric. He told Lyric, you're safe. You're not going up on my HOH. Don't even worry about it. Then he had to go back to Lyric before nominations and be like, hey, actually, I need you to be a pawn. Right. So you're allowed to take back your word. You're allowed to say something and then take it back, right? Okay. I'm making a mental list of things that other people are allowed to do that Jason's not allowed to do. Okay. I'm making note of all of these things. Like you're allowed to be a liar. You're allowed to be deceptive. But God forbid Jason, oh my God, I genuinely, I need to calm down, but I'm already getting so mad about something that happens later in the week about I, Kamu wanted Jason up from the beginning. Okay, whatever. Jason's your target. Whatever. You're homophobic. You want the one gay guy out. Okay, whatever. Jason's your target. Okay, don't bullshit me that the reason Jason is your target, like the thing that really gets me is this weird need that so many people have. And it's like, I understand you want some good reason to nominate people. And like, common can't be like, I hate the fact that you're gay, so that's why I'm nominating you, even though, let's be real, that's why he's nominated. I'm so angry. Sorry, but I'm not sorry because I'm genuinely really pissed off. Like, whatever. The reason that Kamu comes up with is so unbelievably irritating in its logic that, like, I'm just so angry. I'm just so angry. I'm genuinely so pissed off right now. But anyways, I'm literally jumping ahead. Okay. So Drew, great, gives him the right idea to backdoor Jason. Congrats to Drew. Drew is so funny because Angela really doesn't trust Drew right now. And it's just so unserious because Drew hasn't really, like, it's so funny. It's so funny because sorry, I'll get to the Drew stuff later. Okay. This is actually why I need notes. This is why I need notes. But I didn't want to take notes. I didn't want to take notes because I didn't want to be okay. Lock in, Emi. So basically, nominees happen. And Kamu does tell Jason, I'm not nominating you. Whatever. I'm not nominating you today. Okay, so the nominees are Lyric, Mallory, and Lala. Great. You did such a good job, Kamu. Whatever. I literally can't stand him. Leading up to the veto, right? Jason is his target. Jason's been his target. Jason remains his target the entire week. Let's not forget that Jason was his target from the beginning. So he's wanting to backdoor Jason. He doesn't want Jason to get picked for the veto, right? I don't remember if he did tell anybody, hey, please, if you can, don't pick Jason. I don't know why he would have like told Lala that or told anybody that, but it wasn't like he had like a consensus of like, guys, I'm going after Jason, don't pick him for the veto. Okay. So Lala, before the veto, she picks like house guest choice. So she picks Jason, right? Okay. Calm is pissed now because Jason's competing in the HOH or in the veto. And I was thrilled. It was like, oh my God, we're so close. Maybe something good will happen. I was very, very hopeful. Okay. I don't know why I was hopeful, but I have to be honest, I was hopeful. I had a glimmer of hope. I'm like, okay, this is good. Jason winning the veto would have been the best case scenario because he wouldn't have been the renom. He maybe would have saved somebody, maybe whatever. I wanted Kamu's plans to be foiled. Like the thing that really frustrates me about this week is that I wasn't even like a ride or die Jason fan. I didn't even like, I was critical of some of his game moves in the past. I think I said in my last episode that I was hopeful that maybe like now that his game was exposed, he'd like, I don't know. I was trying to remain positive on Jason because while I think he mishandled some stuff with Angela in the beginning, I didn't think he was like such a lost cause, and he is really interesting and like he had so much potential that like I wasn't throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, I was trying to remain hopeful that something good could happen with Jason's game. Anyways, so I really didn't want Kamu to succeed. Okay, I didn't want evil to win. That's genuinely how I feel. And like the thing is, I tweeted a lot and I made jokes about how the red corner is demonic, and while a lot of those things are jokes because I don't believe in demons. So like I don't actually think it's demonic. I genuinely, there is like a deep part of me and there is like a kernel of reality where evil, good, bad, whatever you want to label it, there is something deeply like upsetting to me about people whose worldview are so deeply rooted in like hatred and like, because I think the reason that I made that disclaimer at the beginning of this episode about how I don't like to like place moralistic judgments on house guests based off of their gameplay because I don't know them and I don't like judging people on reality TV, is because the core of my, like the central, one of the core pillars of like the way I view the world is that I don't believe that people are like fundamentally good or fundamentally evil. I don't think that people are irredeemable. I believe in change and growth, and I believe that we can make decisions every single day to be a little bit better, to be a little less bad, to do the best we can with what we have every single day. I believe in that wholeheartedly. I don't believe that people are just purely evil or purely good. I think that's too simplistic. I also don't think evil is like an external force that just happens. I think human beings cause harm, and evil is just very deeply human aspects of ourselves that we're not like facing and contending with and like learning to, yeah. Anyways, I don't need to get into a whole like whatever. But the reason I try really hard not to judge people on reality TV is because I don't know them and I don't like to reduce people to one version of themselves. But I do genuinely think in the state of the world, people who are so hateful and their worldview is so hateful, like there is just, and I do believe that people can change and grow and maybe they will, but I just don't think that there's any incentive to change or grow in a world that is rewarding cruelty, is rewarding the worst of the worst. So it's like, I don't think right now these people have any incentive to change. So what I think Camus has a lot of really harmful beliefs. I don't think he's a safe person to be around. I don't think he's a good person to have a platform or to be on television. And I don't think he is somebody who should have been placed in a house in the social experiment with people of like marginalized communities. I don't think so. So while I'm not going to call him evil or good or whatever on a whatever, I do think there is something deeply wrong and harmful about him being in the cast, him being part of this, him being able to wield his power for what I in the game, for what I believe is just a personal distaste and hatred he has for somebody for something that they can't change, an immutable characteristic that is deeply personal and very angering to me because it I understand that Big Brother is a television show, and I understand the greater world. It's not a real world issue, okay? But the reason I care so deeply about media and the reason that I have a television podcast is because I do believe that reality TV, that scripted TV, that media in general has an impact on culture as a whole and therefore society and interpersonal relationships. Like I think media is important. So it upsets me because it's greater than just what this represents. And it is really upsetting when a lot of rights are being stripped from the LGBT community specifically. And like it's a really scary time to be a queer person in America, just as like it's a really scary time to be an immigrant in America, which is another group of people who Camus has posted very hateful things about or liked posts very like so many. He literally in 2025 posted on his Instagram story a joke about George Floyd and then put it in an Instagram highlight. Like people found it recently, but it was from literally 2025. And the context too of that was that not that there's any context that like makes it better or worse, but he literally heard somebody getting arrested and saying they couldn't breathe. And he decided to record himself laughing at that and saying that person thinks they're George Floyd because they can't breathe. Are you not a man of God? Are you not a, like I don't understand what kind of like lack of empathy and like lack of humanity you have to see somebody in crisis, whether somebody's being arrested because they genuinely did something or not. Like that is a scary thing to go through. I don't wish for people to be arrested. I don't, especially if you're being arrested in a state where you're struggling and you're saying you can't breathe. Like why do you think that's humorous at all to then record it and make a joke about somebody who literally died is beyond me. Like I just think there's something deeply, deeply harmful about Camus, and I just don't think, like, do I believe that everybody can change and grow? I like to believe so on a deep, deep level. I don't think that just because everybody's flawed and because people cause harm and because hopefully we're all capable of growth, I think that there are some things that should disqualify you from being a public figure or being on television. Like, to me, that is where, like, there have been moments where like public figures get caught in like somebody who's like trying to be a politician will be like, there'll be some backlash to them, and then people are like, are we not, like, progressives will be like, don't we wish for restorative justice and for people to change, and can't we just wish for the best? And it's like, yes, we can hope that people change and learn and grow and they're not who they once were, but that doesn't mean we need to give everybody power. Like, somebody can be deeply flawed and they can growth and they can atone for their mistakes and change and be better people. But I do think that there are some things that should disqualify you from some level of public figure from holding office. Like, there's a difference between just hoping people change and grow and then being irresponsible in who you give a voice to. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry to go on that tangent. I'm just genuinely upset about the way the week turned out. I'm like really, really upset about it. On like a deep personal level. Like, it's not even about the game. It's not even about like how like frustrating the season is going gameplay wise and the steamroll and this, that, and the other. Like, on a deep, visceral human level, it's genuinely really upsetting in a way that like maybe some people would think like you're being dramatic or this, that, and the other, but it is just representative of society as a whole. And I think it does hit extra like hard when Jason literally at the beginning of the season had a moment with Angela where he was like, I'm not used to being around this many straight people. Like, I don't have any, like, the way Jason's story transpired is just like very deeply sad. It's very deeply sad to me as a queer person. Like, I'm really upset. Like, I wasn't even like that diehard of a Jason fan. I don't think that he didn't deserve for this to be his story. At the end of the day, Camus is not the kind of person who should be on television. Like, I don't wish ill on him. I don't wish anything negative for him. I don't think that means that you deserve to be on TV. And I think it is just really upsetting when there are so many people who like it's their dream to play Big Brother and they apply and they care deeply about it, and then horrific bigots like Camus get like scouted. Probably, I doubt he applied. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. Anyways, I don't even remember where I was in the game of it all. The veto was played on Saturday. It was like you spin. It was like pickle themed. You like, it's one of those comps where they make you all dizzy. They spun and then they had a little pickle. Whatever. It was like kind of pickleball, but not really. And I mean, I don't know. I've never played pickleball, but I'm pretty sure that that's not really what pickleball is. So, oh, I completely skipped over this. The HOH competition was like a wrestle thing, and it was like a quiz. And it was really upsetting watching it, like after the fact, because obviously I watched feeds and I knew Camus won HOH. But it was literally like there were like 5 people left. And then in the last question, like everybody except Camus got it wrong. It was so upsetting to me. It was so upsetting. Like, we were so close. And Camus was like one of the only people left from like that side of the house. So like we were close. It was upsetting. But anyways, Lyric wins the veto, and I was happy for her, I guess. At this point, I was like, great, this sucks. Like, I'm happy for Lyric, I guess. But like, the thing is, I kind of tuned out of feeds at some point because I'm like, I hate Camus. Whatever happens, I'm going to be miserable either way because Camus is still in power. And like, I was really upset. I was genuinely really upset the whole time. Like, I can't lie. And I know I'm being a bummer. And like, whatever, I don't care. I was genuinely deeply upset on a personal level. And that's just my truth. Okay. And I have to say that, like, I think I said last week, I'm like, it was so nice. Like, I got laid off right before Big Brother started. Okay. Unrelated. But I was like, you know what? Silver lining. I have all the time in the world to watch feeds. But now I have all the time in the world to watch feeds. I don't want to watch feeds all the time now. I'm miserable. Like it's seeping into my real life because it's all I have to do. It's okay. I'm fostering kittens now. You know, when I'm upset, I don't need to touch grass. I just need to pet my kittens. They're okay. They're doing great. But genuinely, it was a rough week for me personally. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Devin's got the power and he got the diamond power of veto, and I am happy for him. Okay. The thing is, I on it like I really do like Devins. I grew a fondness for Rick Devins in Survivor. I'm really enjoying watching him on Big Brother. I cannot stand the people he's aligned with, and it's irritating me that he's aligned with them. But I'm trying to remain hopeful that that will be used. Like I don't know. I'm like that'll keep Devins around. He's not going to use it on anybody from the red corner. I think the red corner is disposable to him. That's the thing. I'm trying to remain positive. That's how I'm trying to remain hopeful. Is like they're using Angela, Devins. They're using the red corner. I mean, I think Angela is really in deep with. Like, I think she really feels truly aligned with them. And I think because of that, D is feeling truly aligned with them. I think Devins is keeping his options open a bit more. Where I think if the time came, he'd be fine getting rid of any of them. And for that reason alone, I'm rooting for Devins more because I genuinely believe that Angela has fully drank the red corner Kool-Aid and she's fully on that side. And Drew and because the crossovers in theory was originally the core alliance, right? And the tool shed was the outer layer that was added on after the fact. They merged the red corner with the tool shed with the crossovers to make the tool shed. So in theory, the core alliance was supposed to be the one with Drew and Barrett. But I feel like for Angela, that's not they're on the outskirts now. And I feel like D is falling in line a bit more with Angela. I think Devins hasn't fully given up on Drew or Barrett as numbers. I don't know. I just really hate the red corner. Okay. For a lot of reasons. One, I hate Camus. Chuck is kind of irrelevant. He's there and he does nothing. And then every once in a while he says something. And I'm he's so annoying to me. Am I the only one? He's there and I'm he adds nothing to the conversation. Yash, at least this week, was gaming a bit. What the hell is Chuck there to do? Literally, what is Chuck doing? Am I the only one? What is Chuck doing? And then Haley, I really don't like because she's just such a negative person. And the thing is, I understand being frustrated and complaining, but Haley, I swear to God, every time she's on feed, she's talking about how much she hates this person and hates this person. And similarly to the way that I feel like Camus used his HOH to target people he didn't like, I feel like as soon as Haley has power, she's going to use it to target people who just piss her off on a personal level. And I hate those kind of players because it's you need to, I understand personal connections are part of it. And if somebody's really getting on your nerves or somebody's you have a clash, obviously it's better to get them out. But I feel like she just has I don't know. Maybe I'm just not watching her on feeds enough because she irritates me. But I swear to God, every time she's on feed, she's being negative about this person or that person or that person to the point where I'm do you like anybody? Do you like anything? She's so negative. I can't. I saw a tweet once that was Haley, at least of the red corner, she kind of games. And I personally don't feel like Haley games. I feel like she complains about people and then brings it back to the game of Lala's blah, 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 blah. We should target Lala. I don't think she's gaming. She just hates people. And then she's so when we have the power, we should get them out. That's not gaming to me. Whatever. I do think obviously being well liked is part of the game, but I think if the only reason you want to target somebody is because they got on your nerves, to me that's not gaming. That's not this person's good at comps, this person's aligned with all these people, so we need to get them out because then we have the numbers. That's not gaming. It's you figuring out who you want to live with. It's okay, whatever. I just, and the thing that really gets me about Haley is I can respect, like, the thing is, as much as, like, it, being a rat or whatever, and Haley really is only aligned with the same people, and I don't feel like she talks to anybody else. I swear to God, I never see her even attempting a conversation with Melody or Lyric or Mallory or well, no, not nobody. I've never even seen her talking to Lala, but I've seen her talk about Lala, about how much conflict she has with Lala. Do you even interact? Like, I really don't like Haley. So it's just like, I can't stand that side of the house. I can't stand that side of the house. They feel like hateful people who want to use power they have in the game to get out people that they just don't like. And to me, that's not playing Big Brother. That's not the social dynamics of the game. That's not, this person's well liked and they're well insulated, so I need to get them out, or they can be good at comps later on, or like, there's no game to that. It's just, I don't want to live with you. I'm just getting rid of the people I like. And then there's the other annoying players who, like, they only want to get out. Like, they're not thinking about their own relationships either. They're just thinking about, like, these are the numbers, so I have to go with the numbers, even if it's not best for my game, in a way that really irritates me. I'm jumping all over the place. Okay, whatever. Lyric wins HOA. Lyric wins veto. And Sunday is when the week really reached a point for me where I was like, I'm really like upset about the way things are transpiring. Like, Sunday for me was like the turning point where I was like, I'm upset. I'm genuinely really upset, like, on a deep interpersonal level. Okay, because at this point it's gotten back to Kamu that Jason was like scheming, which, like, who cares? You were gonna target him anyway. Like, stand if it got back to Kamu that somebody who you were aligned with was backstabbing you and that upset you. You didn't want to work with Jason anyway. Why did this become this big thing where it's like, okay, I was going to nominate Jason anyway, but let me blow up his game? Like, it genuinely felt like every move that Kamu made, to me, genuinely felt like he views the week as like, I'm the HOH, so you should do what I want. Like, well, I'm the HOH. So, like, that is his attitude towards power in the game in a way that really irritates me. It's like HOH-itis to, like, the millionth degree. I cannot stand that attitude of playing. And I can't stand even more the fact that so many players, so many house guests have, like, fallen in line to this, like, we need to do what the HOH wants. Like, oh, we'll honor the HOH's wishes. The HOH is not a dictator. Honor what wishes? They have power. They use the power. Now it's up to us. We are the house. Enough with this. I can't go with the house. You are the house. Just do what you want to do. Like, anyways, I need to calm down. Okay. So Sunday, they'd been planning a tea party. Okay. So lovely. Kamu's like, I want to call Jason out because he's been talking about how to this side of the house that he wants to get me, Chuck, and Haley out, and then he's been telling other people that he wants to get D, Devins, and Angela out, and it's just whatever. I'm gonna blow up his spot, okay? And you know why I think he wanted to blow up his spot? Because it was him being like, not only am I nominating you, but everybody should vote you out. Like, it was him wanting to the max degree utilize his power to push Jason out. Like, he wanted full, like, veto power. Like, everybody does what I want now. Like, not only am I nominating Jason, but I also need to make it clear that you guys all need to vote Jason out. And that's basically what he, like, guaranteed, and it pissed me off. Anyways, so he's preparing the speech that he's going to give at the tea party. D knows, Angela knows, Devins knows. I don't know who else knew about it, but I know that they knew. Okay, Jason is super excited. The tea party is super cute. Mallory was so excited that they were planning it, and Kamu the whole time was like gearing up like an evil man to ruin the tea party. Okay. And on feeds, I watched the whole thing live on feeds. The episode cut it down to just when Kamu gave his speech, but they played some like little games before where everybody was like going around and they like made confessions, or they like, it was nice and lighthearted at first. Okay. It was fun. It was nice. Okay. Everybody was having a good time for longer than it seemed. And then Kamu was like, I'm going to speak. And it was like, okay, maybe he's going to give his confession. But no, he gives his sinister speech which they cut out the part where he was like, I came to play an honest game that my family is going to be proud of, blah, blah, blah. Basically teeing it up as like Jason's a liar. Mind you, you're also a liar because did you not tell Lyric that you were nominating her? Did you not go back on your word? Are you not lying to people? Right, right. Are you not this whole thing? Is this whole thing not a big ruse and a big lie, given the fact that you were going to nominate Jason from the beginning? But you have to give this whole speech about how you literally, when he nominated Jason at the veto ceremony, he goes, I wasn't going to do this. Yes, you were the entire time. So only one person's allowed to be a liar, I guess. I need to calm down. Anyways, it was just genuinely really, really upsetting because everybody was having a good moment. And it's really this moment where it really just felt like he couldn't just nominate Jason. He needed to put the nail in his coffin and hammer it in to be like, you need to vote him out. And that's it. And I really, at this moment, felt really bad for Jason because it's like, and he did the best he could where he was like, I'm playing the game. Okay, wait, sorry. In his speech, the reason that Kamu gives for why he's having an issue with Jason is that Jason promised him that if he won the veto, he would use it as the way Kamu wanted. But then Kamu found out that Jason was telling multiple people that he would use the veto on them. He told all the nominees he would use the veto on them. So he's like, so were you going to do what I wanted, or were you going to give it to Lala as you promised? Meanwhile, Lala's like, he never promised me the veto. So what's the issue? The thing that irritates me about this is like, and I understand people can't say that, but I swear to God, if I was sitting there and I was Jason, I would have been like, I didn't win the veto, first of all. Second of all, if I did win the veto, I won the veto. I would have won the veto. Are you allowing people to tell you who to nominate? Or do you have the power right now and you're using the power that you want? So why do you think that if I rightfully won the veto, I should have to do what you want? You have the power that you earned. I have the power that I earned. Why do you think because you're the HOH, you have free reign over what power, like how I'm going to use power that I earn? Like I would genuinely, like that's the thing that genuinely drives me crazy about the like honoring HOH's wishes or like voting the way the HOH wants. It's like the HOH has the power that they earn and they use that power the way that they are able to in the structure of the game. And then the rest of the players have the powers available to them, whether that's a veto that they win, whether that's some America's time capsule thing that they win, or if it's their vote. So why are we giving more power to the people? Like Kamu's won his power. He has the ability to do what he can do in the game. The fact that he would think that he has the right to even give his opinion on what Kamu would do with the veto if he won the veto is unbelievably irritating to me. Like genuinely, if I was Jason, I would have been like, I didn't win the veto. And if I did, then I would have won the veto. Why do you think you have the right to tell me how to use a veto that I won? Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know that I came here to play Kamu's game. I'm playing my game. So if I win the veto, I'm going to use the veto how I see fit. What the hell does that have to do with you? Then you can nominate somebody. That's the power that you have based off of what you've earned. What are we talking about? It's a thing that really, really is driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. What do you mean? Would you have used the veto how I wanted? Last time I checked, you didn't earn the veto. That's like you winning HOH and me telling you, well, were you going to nominate who I wanted you to nominate? Why would you do that when you won the HOH? Hello? Like, it drives me insane. It drives me insane. So the fact that that was even his logic and that was his reasoning, or the fact that Jason was being messy and telling multiple people other things, it's like you were going to nominate him regardless. Like, the thing that really irritates me is that it's not like Kamu was an unrelated party or whatever, and he didn't have a moment, so he needed to have a house meeting to air the grievances, and he was like, perfect, we're all gathering together. You, as the HOH, have a specific moment where you can explain why you are nominating somebody. The only reason you did it in that moment was to humiliate him, was to isolate him emotionally, because he had said that he wanted to do that earlier in on feeds, which they cut out, they didn't include in the episode, but he did say he wanted to emotionally isolate Jason. I lost my train of thought. To humiliate him, to emotionally isolate him, and to hammer in the fact that everybody should vote for Jason, to completely disparage his image so nobody would, and it's just the nail in the coffin because Jason already had suspicion on him. And it to me, it's just it's dirty. It's dirty. And it's annoying. It's annoying because again, it really emphasizes this way that Kame was approaching the game of like, I'm the HOH, so you should do what I want. You won the power that you won. You can use the power. Like I genuinely, it's one of the things that irritates me the most. It's one of the things that irritates me the most. Same with like the votes. Okay, the votes of like, well, I don't want to vote against what the HOH would want, or like, who cares? You are playing this game for yourself. Yes, you need to make alliances, and no, you can't just like willy-nilly do things as if like obviously you exist in the context in all in which you live and what you came before you. Okay. Yes, and I was about to say but yes, and you are still playing a game for yourself. Anyways, this was a very upsetting moment. Everybody leaves and Jason's just left there alone, and it was a really sad image. And I felt really, really bad for Jason because I'm like, he really can't catch a break. And it's like, the thing is, it was already really like sad and frustrating to watch because of just like the premeditation behind it, the fact that he wanted to emotionally isolate Jason, like all of the context was really bad. The fact that we know that Kamu is a homophobe, it was all really, really building up to a very uncomfortable place. Jason, iconic as he is, starts like banging a teapot the next day anytime people are scheming. And then basically leading up to the eviction, the main conversation is like, who's going to win Blockbuster? And for a while there, for like the first few days up until like Wednesday, really, Mallory was safe regardless of who she was going up against, because her side of the house was like gonna vote for her to stay. Obviously, like her numbers, Lyric, Jason, if he got off the block, would have voted for her. She had her numbers, and then Drew and Barrett were leaning towards voting for Mallory regardless of the impact on the other side of the house. So for a while, it seemed like regardless, Mallory was going to be fine, whoever she was up against. And then Jason would go regardless of who he was up against. That's the way it seemed. Then on Tuesday, I believe, Melody started floating the idea of, obviously, if it's Mallory at this point, it's still like Mallory's confirmed to stay regardless at this point. But if it's Jason, Melody's like, maybe we should keep Jason. Like maybe we should send Lala. And she tries to figure out the numbers. Yash is on board. Yash really activates and is like gaming there for a little bit. And it seems like there's a tiny bit of hope. This is what I was talking about earlier or actually, I don't know, because I started recording another version of this. So maybe that was in that, the other, my Wi-Fi disconnected while I was recording that one, like 5 to 10 minutes of a podcast. So maybe that's where I was talking about, maybe. But anyways, I had a lot of like highs and then like a little bit of hope. And then I went like, I was depressed again, a little bit of hope. And then I was depressed again. This is when I had a little bit of hope. I was like, okay, they're talking about flipping. Maybe something's good. Melody was like activating and I was like feeling really hopeful. I was like, okay, maybe there's hope. Maybe the other side of the numbers is going to activate. Okay. And the thing is that they still didn't really trust Jason, but they were like, maybe it's better for our game to have a better competitor. So they were like considering it for like the longevity of their game, despite not really fully trusting Jason. It wasn't like they were like, we need to back Jason. It was just like, maybe for our game, like Jason's a better competitor. We need stronger numbers on our side. So that was where they were going. Barrett rats this out to D immediately. Word also gets back, like Drew and Barrett are not being like secretive about the fact that they want to keep Mallory if it's Mallory and Lala. And because of this, like, which, whatever, like, this is why the like Angela's paranoia towards Drew is like comical. It's upsetting and it's frustrating because she's so far off base, but it's like comical because it's like they are loyal to you. Like they actually, to the detriment of their own game sometimes, would rather just do what the crossovers wants. They don't want to lose the crossovers, okay? Because if they actually were like more aware, they would like, if they were solely self-interested players, I feel like, I mean, honestly, they're kind of in a difficult position in a lot of senses, but I do feel like on some level, if they were fully like not, if they were fully playing the middle and they were fine to jump ship to whichever side they needed to jump ship to, I don't think that they would hesitate as much of like voting out Mallory, or like the information wouldn't get back to that side of the house because they would be like, I'm just going to go with what's best for me every week. I don't really feel like they're playing that. They still, I feel like they're in a weird position where they are trying to play that we're like all jump to whatever ship, but they also want to stay loyal and like firm in their alliance. So like it's just so funny to me that Angela is like so skeptical of Drew, because I'm like, to his own detriment, he will vote against like numbers that he has that are purely his numbers to side with your side of the house where you have more numbers, you know. Whatever, it's just genuinely absurd. Like, so for a while there it was like, okay, the Jason vote gets shut down really quick because Drew is like, I don't think I can do that. Taylor is also, which they made it seem like in the edited show, they made it seem like Taylor was the holdout vote. She really wasn't. She really wasn't like the holdout vote of like, Taylor can't vote against Lala. Like, that was a factor. But if they had the numbers to flip, like whatever, they didn't. Drew and Barrett didn't want to flip. Okay, it wasn't on Law. It wasn't on Taylor. Okay, it wasn't Taylor's loyalty to Lala. Taylor actually was kind of on board for a little bit, and then I think if they went to her and they were like, we firmly have the numbers, like I do think she would consider it, but like they weren't firm with the numbers. It was very up in the air. So why was she going to risk her game? Whatever. It wasn't on Taylor. Okay. I didn't like the way they made it seem in the episode like it was Taylor's sole decision. It really wasn't. Okay. Drew and Barrett didn't want to flip. But Mallory, there was a bit of hope there, okay, for a while. And basically the crossovers shut that down. I watched this conversation live on feeds where Devins is basically like, I don't, we can convince like the cool kids, the red corner people. The cool kids is Chuck, Haley, and Kamu. To me, I just call them the red corner. I know the red corner technically has D and Devins, but to me, they're not cool kids. They're the MAGA alliance. So to me, when I say the red corner, I'm not including Dean Devins, okay? To me, the red corner is Chuck, Haley, is that trio. That's the red corner to me, okay? But anyways, Devins is like, maybe if we can get them on board, like we'll do Mallory. And Drew and Barrett are like, they're not going to be on board. Devins was basically like, I know you feel like you're on the bottom of like the 8-person alliance, but like we're at the core, so like they're on the bottom. And the thing is, that's nice in theory. But maybe Drew or maybe Barrett can pick up on the fact that the people that Angela and Dee spend the most time with are Haley, Chuck, and Kamu. Like, it's, yeah, on paper, maybe that's the core and the red corner doesn't know about them. But if the way that things are happening in the house is that group is really congregating together, and Haley and Angela and Dee are spending so much time together, and and you're like wary of that side of the house. I don't blame Drew and Barrett for like wanting to explore having other numbers. They ultimately like fell back and did what the crossovers wanted, but I don't think that they would have been wrong not to. Like, I don't think that would have made them not loyal. I think at the end of the day, you do have to somewhat play an individual game, and you can't, like, I don't think it's wrong to not go with your alliance every single, like, I think it's more stupid on an individual level. It didn't come to this because Mallory won the blockbuster, but I think it's more stupid on an individual level if you're Barrett to vote out Mallory for the sake of the greater alliance, where you don't even want to work with the 3 people who really want, like, for the greater alliance that you don't even really want to be a part of, when Mallory is more loyal to you than Chuck, Kamu, and Haley are. They don't even like talk to you on a personal, like on any level. They don't speak to you. Kamu probably thinks Barrett is like fruity and doesn't want to be around the zesty bestie. And ultimately, Drew and Barrett settle on like, we need to vote Mallory out if it's Mallory and Lala, because we can't I guess we are more insulated in the tool shed than like we shouldn't throw it away. We're not at the bottom of that alliance. But like the thing is, I do feel like they are. And the reason they are is because they have more to lose in the fact that they were playing both sides. So like they're in a worse position because they've been a little bit sketchier. Like nobody's going to be like Haley, like nobody's going to use anything that Haley, Chuck, and Kamu were doing against them because they're boring flops who weren't doing anything. Like Drew and they also like, I mean, the thing is, Barrett does know. I didn't watch this live, but I did see that people were saying that, I can't remember who, but somebody clued Barrett into the fact that they didn't really trust Drew anymore. I don't know. Like the thing is, it also like didn't come to that. And I do understand why Barrett, like I understand why Jason was like the easy vote, I guess. Whatever. But I was like, I was trying like for a couple of days there. I was kind of hopeful because I was like, okay, maybe if Jason wins the blockbuster, then Mallory's safe regardless. So hopefully Jason can just win the blockbuster and then we're good. And then the tide started turning on Mallory, and they were like, okay, it's not going to be Mallory. Like Mallory's going if she's on the block. And I was like, I'm fucked either way because I don't want Jason going on Kamu's HOH. Like that doesn't like that angers me on a deeply visceral level. But like also I don't want Mallory going. Like I was just so upset about the situation. And so much of the conversation is like, we just don't have the votes. We don't have the votes. And it's like, I understand that at the end of the day, you need a majority of the votes to vote somebody out. I understand that you're counting the numbers. I understand how that works. And like, not to get like deep, okay, but it's like every vote counts, okay. It's not the same because obviously electoral politics are different, okay. But I do think it's kind of, it kind of really does show the way voting and like, just so many things work in general where you're like, your individual vote is just one of many. So it's like, what difference is it going to make? We don't have the numbers the way it all shakes out. So I'm just not going to vote the way you just go with the crowd. And I just really hate that kind of playing on Big Brother because your vote is the only power you have. Like if you were a regular house guest and you're not winning comps, the only ability you have is to maneuver socially, is to try to plant seeds, is to try to make alliances, is to try to set yourself up well. And the only tangible impact you have every week, if you're not on the block, is your vote, is your say. So why are you throwing it away or basically giving it to somebody else to do what the HOH wants or to do what the majority wants? At the end of the day, if they're not working with you, they're going to target you regardless of how you voted. The only time, like I understand Jason and I understand Drew and Barrett of all the people not wanting to vote Mallory as much as I understand that more than I understand people like Melody and that side of the house like not voting to keep Jason because it's like that they don't want to work with you anyway. It's like Drew and Barrett, maybe they don't want to burn a bridge when they're like aligned with them, but it's like that side of the house is going to target you guys regardless. Why don't you make a big move and vote to keep Jason? Even if the votes don't shake out, you made a statement. The statement is, I'm not playing your game, I'm playing my own. Like I'm just so tired of this. Like I need to do what I don't, it really comes down to people don't want to give anybody any reason to target you. But at the end of the day, if you're not aligned with them and they're going to target you anyway. They're going to target you anyway. So stop like trying to appease people before you're even like, I understand maybe week one, okay? But it's like you're this far into the game, lines are somewhat drawn. They're not aligned with you. Kamu doesn't want to work with you, okay? Vote against Kamu, vote in your best interest. Like it really irritates me. I need to, we don't have the numbers. There's this scene in Big Brother 25 that I think about all the time. Okay. I literally quote this with my sister where they're voting Jared out. It's like, I think it's the double eviction that then led to the monstrosity of Zombie Week. And they are counting, they're voting Jared out, right? Okay. And Cerie's trying to count the numbers and she's like, they're like, we don't have the numbers to keep him. And she's like, what do you mean? She counts all the people in the room and she's like, we're the numbers. Like, we are the house. What do you mean the house? We don't have, like, I'm going with the house. We are the house. We have the majority if we all just vote to keep Jared. But nobody's voting to keep Jared because, and whatever. But like, we are the house. You are the house. Okay. Vote in your best interest. Kami was going to target you anyway. Who gives a fuck what he wants? Like, I'm so tired of this, what the HOH wants, or like, if I win the veto, I'm going to check with what the HOH wants, or Kamu being like, Jason told me he was going to. That's ridiculous. Okay, even if Jason did and he went and did the exact opposite of what he told you he was going to use his veto for, it's not your veto. Did you earn the veto? So why do you want to use it? Aren't you a conservative? Aren't you all about what people earn? And now suddenly it's our veto. Suddenly you're a communist. I thought like, it's your vote, it's your veto, it's your power. And like, yes, there's importance of like a collective, okay, and like doing things as a group and like making decisions that don't screw over your allies, of course. Okay, I'm not saying that Big Brother is solely an individual game in the like you can't have connections with people. Okay, they literally vote for you in the end. You need to make connections, you need to make alliances, you need to like, I'm not saying that, okay? But if you win a power, it's your power. If you win the veto, it's your veto. Why are you trying to why are you trying to claim other people's vetoes? Like, I just hate that attitude. I hate that attitude. It's like, it's your vote, it's your veto. You decide what you want to do. And like, yes, you should consider the dynamics and the implications, but make the decision that ultimately favors you. At the end of the day, the red corner people will cut Barrett the first chance they have. So he should not, and again, it didn't even come to this because it was Jason and Lala, but he should not vote Mallory out in that case, especially like Mallory doesn't even have the numbers. Okay. I mean, I guess then it would have been like a tie, but then, and that's another thing. They don't want to do ties because, then the HOH needs to break the tie and they'll be so mad. Mad about what? I understand not wanting to make the HOH break a tie and like whatever, like that's annoying. It's so early. These people are going out. Who gives a fuck if the HOH needs to win to break a tie? And you know what? Kami would have been thrilled to break a tie and send one of those people home because he's hateful and evil. Like, I hate this, like, just going with the house, doing what the HOH wants, play your game. And another thing that really pisses me off, and this is kind of connected, but not really, in talking of alliances and in comparing like alliances, a common alliance that is brought up in comparison is the cookout. And people will talk about like the cookout had people that they were close to, but they needed to do was what was good for the greater alliance, the cookout. So they had to nominate people that they were really close to and they really liked. And like, yes, that is true of the cookout. But the thing is, the cookout did that for a very specific reason. The reason they did that was because they were working towards a very important common goal. And that goal was to get for there to be the first Black winner of Big Brother. So they wanted the final 6, or were there 5? 6. They wanted the final 6 to be the 6 Black players. So there would guaranteed be a Black winner of Big Brother 23. No. Yeah, 23. So like, it wasn't it in a normal game of Big Brother, you don't do like, the reason that they needed to betray their closest allies was because at the end of the day, they needed the 6 of them to make it to the end for this mission. They very often, many of them had to do things that were not in the best interest of their individual game because they were playing for a larger purpose. You guys are not playing for that larger purpose. It's genuinely insulting for you and your 8-person alliance to be like, we need to play like we're the cookout, because you're not working to that goal. Like, no, in a regular season of Big Brother, you shouldn't be playing to screw yourself over for the greater alliance, because that's not useful. Like, that's not a useful game of Big Brother. Okay, the reason they did that was because of the greater mission. Do you know how any of those players, if they were playing on a different season and they didn't have that goal, they wouldn't have made those decisions because they weren't loyal to the cookout just because like they needed to get they were loyal to the cookout for a reason. You bringing up the cookout in reference to your 6-person alliance or your 8-person alliance genuinely is insulting to the reason the cookout existed, and it's also, in my opinion, like really showcases that you're just like not thinking of Big Brother in the correct way. Okay, they had to do things that were not setting themselves up. Like if Tiffany was playing on a season where she wasn't in the cookout, she would have made different decisions. Same with Chada. Like they were making decisions for the greater good of the cookout because of the purpose, not because they were just blindly loyal to this alliance and they wanted to get to the 6. So like genuinely, it's an offensive comparison for a variety of reasons. And I do think the cookout had some like really good, important like game mechanics of like you each have like your closest person. I think those kind of comparisons are fine. But when you're talking about like we need to be loyal to our alliance first and foremost, like the cookout was, to me, that's offensive. Okay, that's offensive because you're erasing the reason that the cookout was loyal to their 6. So like, what are you talking about? That's something that's really been irritating me on feeds. Anyways, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Next week I'll have notes. I was just too angry this week. Honestly, actually, no guarantees that next week I'll have notes because the way things are going, I'm going to be just as pissed off next week. Anyways, it's a unanimous vote. Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Mallory wins the Blockbuster. I was really happy for her. Votes are unanimous. I was really sad. I will say Jason's like exit interview with Julie was really beautiful. The fact that she had a little teapot waiting for him, and the fact that like she told him that he was in the top 3 for every vote that they did for the time capsule, and then he got really emotional, and like it was a really beautiful moment where I'm glad he knows that like he's loved. And I do think in the greater scheme of things, as much as I didn't want Jason going on Kamu's HOH because of the principle of it, and also because I didn't want Jason to go, but like I do think longevity wise, I think Jason would have been in a really tough spot. And I think for as difficult as things were in there and as alone as he would have been in there, I think it's probably for the best that he is. Like it's sad, but I'm glad that at least he's going to be surrounded by love and like, you know, support on the outside instead of being like miserable and like struggling inside that house with like the demonic forces that are like, you know, sucking the joy out of Big Brother. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I'm really upset. Like genuinely, I'm really upset, and things are just going to keep getting worse. But I'm trying to remain hopeful. Like the thing is, I can't lose hope. I can't lose hope. We're still pre-jury. Things can change. Things can change. But final thoughts. I think Kamu is evil. I hope the red corner perishes soon. And I really hope that Devins gets away from the demonic forces of the red corner. I hope Dee does as well. And Angela, at this point, I'm fine with going in. Angela's really irritating me. Like she's really irritating me. I'm so tired of watching her. I can't stand the impact she's having on other people. Okay. And like the thing is, Angela's fun and when her paranoia like is targeting the people that I want out. Like when she was like really pushing for Rome to go, I'm like, okay, that's great. I wanted Rome. Like I was fine with Rome going, but now it's like on people that I like and in a way that I'm like, this is like she's irritating me. Okay. I'm like, can't you have a paranoia for the people who are actually evil? And after Kamu's little fucking dumbass speech, like Angela was like, you did such a good job. You were a class act. Like that was the thing that really irritated me on feeds. People kept being like, Kamu, you did such a good job. Like, I understand why you did it. That was so necessary. It wasn't necessary. He would have had a moment where he could explain why he was nominating Jason. He wanted to do it in that moment to humiliate him, to publicly, like to make him public enemy number one. And he succeeded. He succeeded. So I'm glad that Jason went out with a fight and was like, if I'm going to be the messy bitch, then like, let me make some entertainment. I'm going to spill tea. Like, I appreciated that. I appreciated that. Anyways, nothing but love for Jason. the Big Brother 28 house needs an exorcism. Like, anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed it more than I'm enjoying this season of Big Brother. So thank you so much for tuning in. You'll hear from me next week. Bye.